Hi, I'm Amy Mahaly from Be Well Clinic, and today we're going to talk more about gardening. We have some other videos about gardening, but today's topic is what do you even plant in the first place? We have videos about planning out your seasons and your timing and when you plant things and how to plant things, but how do you know what to plant? How do you know that what you start in February and March is actually going to be something you want to eat by the end of the year or at the end of the summer? This is a really good question and something that I missed when I was gardening for a lot of years. I grew up gardening. I gardened things that sounded exciting or that looked beautiful in pictures that I saw, but I didn't garden for what I was going to use. So this is my recommendation, and this is what this video is about. How do you know what you're going to use? Now, first, before we get there, we need to, of course, look at the space you're gardening in. What type of beds? Do you have containers or deep old beds with lots of compost, or do you have new beds with kind of drier or less composty soil? Or are you going to have issues with the growing season? What is your zone? Are you in a place where it's quite short and you're going to have issues with certain crops not being done before the first frost? So there is some limitations that happen when we have a zone or a growing season or different container beds or less space in our yard that will determine what plants we have. So that's our first layer. But the second layer is, what do you put in the space you have for the zone you are in? And this is where you want to think through ahead of time. What are you going to use? Which ferments do you love? Which vegetables do you want to preserve? Because some things we're going to be able to eat fresh, but a lot of things, especially if you grow a big quantity, you're going to want to preserve. Does it preserve well? Can you make sauce? Can you make a ferment? Can you make soups or put it in your stock and make a big batch of stock or even bone broth later on that you freeze, and that's how you're going to use it? This is what I missed for so long, is making a plan for the things I was going to plant before I planted them, so I knew I was going to use them and not waste all my hard work. Because I have had vegetables that I've grown from seeds rot on my pantry floor, and it is so sad. So think ahead of what you're going to do. Here are some thoughts to get you started. What are you planning to be eating? Are you planning to do GAPS introduction diet where you're going to have a lot of soup? Do you love stir fries? What are some of your family's favorite foods? What do you like to ferment? And also, what do you want to try that's new? It's not a problem. This can be a great way to try new things that you're not used to eating, but don't make most of your garden new things unless you know you're very good at that. It uses a lot of energy for us to do new things. So don't plant half your yard with new things if you know you probably aren't going to have the energy to eat or use or figure out recipes for that. Maybe start with one thing. The other thing you want to look at is herbs. So herbs can be annuals or perennials, and sometimes we can bring herbs inside or do cuttings and actually have them through the year. Think about where you're going to plant things that might recur so that you don't use a good garden space for herbs, and then you have to dig them up like weeds or transplant them, and maybe they won't survive. So as you are thinking through, let's review. Number one, what is your zone and what does your space look like to put things in? That's your box of limitation. Inside that, what do you want? Do you want herbs? Where do you want the herbs? And then with the rest of your space, what do you want to grow? What are you going to use? How much new things do you want? And how many things do you want that you're used to and you already know you're using? That is my tips for deciding what you're going to put in your garden and how you're going to use your garden space. I hope this is helpful. Check out our other garden videos for more information, and please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.